Hey everybody, Harry Newhand here. Monday night, beginning of October. It's a new month. So congratulations, you made it this far, and we're going into the last quarter of the year here. And I had several people this week ask me, why do you call it LeapFrog? What's LeapFrog all about? Why is that important? And I figured I'd share that with you because I find it exciting. Here's in my own personal experience through the two times where I had massive success in business in two different industries in the sales space, I leapfrogged. And here's where I got the idea from, where it came from. Many of you are old enough to remember the Apollo NASA program, where they landed they landed a man on the moon and took several trips into space and on the moon, and then they stopped. And they didn't go into space for another 10 years. I think it was at least 10 years. And they let Russia pass them up. They let Russia send men to the moon, and they sent several teams there, and they passed them up. And everybody's wondering, what's going on with the U.S.? Did they abandon, the whole space deal? And then all of a sudden they came out with the space shuttle. And when they came out with the space shuttle, they leapfrogged everybody in the world, because now we've got a vehicle that goes back and forth. And they leapfrogged, and they started that space shuttle program. Lasted a couple of decades, and yes, there were some challenges, yes, there was some catastrophes, and yes, there was some milestones. They were able to launch satellites faster, and hence we have, the internet has exploded, and satellites for weather, satellites for music, all the things that were launched. Many of them were launched from the space shuttle, amongst other things. And they have they leapfrog. Well, the same thing happens in business. Same thing happens in entrepreneurship. Same thing happens in sales. Sales is a learned skill. And when you learn a skill, when you learn something new, there's a process that you go through. You learn, and then there's a breakthrough. All of a sudden, the pieces come together. And when you have a breakthrough, you leapfrog. So in the 80s and 90s, when I was in the network marketing industry, I struggled for the first year and a half because I was a cook flipping hamburgers at Big Boys and never did sales before. So I struggled until I found a mentor. When I found a mentor, I started learning, and I got around them. I started learning, and I learned. And I started going to events. Back then, before the internet, you actually had to physically go to an event, go to a training seminar and a presentation. And I went for 18 months. And the whole process of that learning was about 6 years. Actually about 5.5 years. And then all of a sudden, boom, all the stars aligned, the pieces fit, and I started leapfrogging, where my check was going up 10, 20, 30,000 a month. In a period of 13 months, it went from 7,000 a month to 127,000 a month. And that's leapfrogging. I leapfrogged everybody, and it was crazy. Now, it wasn't just me, obviously. It was the people I was working with, my team, the blessings that were being poured on me, and things just happened. Well, go forward another 15, 16, 17 years in a different industry. I took the same principles I learned in the network marketing with entrepreneurship and sales and in tactics and strategies, and I applied them in the door-to-door industry. Where I was going door to door and selling cable TV. And the first year, I was just recruiting and training. The second year and third year, I was actually doing it, because I realized that in order for me to recruit and develop a really good producing team, I needed to know what they were going through. So that next 2 years, 2.5 years, I did exactly what I was expecting them to do. And we got up to where we were building the company we were working with. We were contractors. I was not employed by a cable company as a contractor. And we were billing them about $6,000 a week in sales, me and 2 or 3 other people. And I had a revolving door. Just couldn't get people to stick. And then finally we got the script down, we got the offer right, we got the recruiting down, we got the training in place, everything worked. And then we leapfrogged. And this leapfrog was massive. We went from, in 100 days, that's it, 3.5 months, we went from billing $6,000 a week, where nobody in the country knew who we were just the lowest man on the pole, to going $60,000 a week. We 10 times in 100 days. We became #1 team in the country, and in production, and it had just absolutely exploded. We ran that wave for about 9 years, 8, 9 years, made millions. And I had 7 guys all making over 6 figures a year, knocking on doors, selling cable and internet and phone. And it was magical. It was crazy. That's what we call leapfrogging. So I named my training program LeapFrog program because when I teach, when I train people, all the pieces, I find out what you're doing, we go through it, and with mindset, with tactics, strategies, a toolkit that I put together, this here, we start working with you to get the foundation ready. So we're learning, and once all the pieces fit, boom, your sales leapfrog, your income leapfrogs, and you have this leapfrog. In fact, you could actually look at a couple of the stories right here in the string, in the thread, in the page, the group, the sales coaching hub group. You look at some of the stories in there, you'll see that several of my students have actually started leapfrogging, where Dallas Price never, last month was his biggest month he's ever had in his whole life, income wise. To read his story, it's a great story. And then you got Colby that also had a great month, started leapfrogging. So, I mean, we're still building the foundation, but they had massive results right away. Not everybody goes right away, but usually it's a learn, then boom, you have a breakthrough. And that's what we do at the LeapFrog program. That's what I focus on, is making sure all the pieces fit. So it's not overnight success. Those were their stories, but everybody's got a story. Now, you could certainly figure it out yourself. Going door to door, I figured it out, but it took 3.5 years of doing what didn't work before I got the formula to where it would work. Taking that in network marketing was 6.5 years, and then boom, it worked. You could take the time, but if you want to compress time, if I knew that there was an easier way, can you imagine if I didn't get the mentors and training that I had in the network marketing? I'd be like the millions of other people that struggle trying to find the method, trying to figure out how it worked. But I got around the right people, I went to them, so I compressed time by hiring coaches, getting around trainers and mentors. I compressed time where most people will never have that kind of success, making 6 figures a month in the network marketing industry, but I was able to compress time and get it in 6.5 years. Now, obviously, every situation is different, and there's no guarantee on what you could do, but if you were like me and you have motivation, you've got energy, you're focused, and you want to learn and you're teachable, I'm telling you, the sky's the limit. If you're in the sales industry and you've been in the sales industry more than 3 or 4 years and you're not making 6 figures a year, you need to get a hold of me. You need to make some changes. You need to figure out what's missing, because the sales industry is the most magical industry in the world. It's a learned skill. And somewhere along the line, you've got a weak link in the chain, because the chain can only be as strong as its weakest link. And if you've got a weak link, then we need to figure that out. If you know what it is, great. It just goes faster. But that's what the LeapFrog program. I got a mascot here, by the way. Got one more announcement, but here's my mascot. I went to a garage sale a couple weeks ago, and we found a frog. And this is the new LeapFrog mascot. Now, it's kind of hokey and kind of silly, but it can't all be business. If you're not having fun, you're off track. So we got the new LeapFrog mascot here, and hope you like him as much as I do. But there he is, and so that's LeapFrog. So the last announcement here is mark on your calendar, November 18th, Saturday, 12 noon Eastern time. I'm going to be doing a special class. And this special class is one of the things that the people I talk to, the groups that I'm in, that I answer questions for, and then that I talk to, and the people that are struggling or they want answers, is how do you overcome this objection? How do you overcome that objection? What about this objection? What do you do when somebody says this? So objections, learning how to prevent, overcome, and handle objections, rejections, and reasons why people don't want to go your way or don't want to take the next step. For me, that was a major breakthrough. That's where I actually broke through in my sales and things started to explode, is when I figured out how to overcome objections, how to prevent them, overcome them, and handle them. And I'm going to teach a class. It's going to be a workshop, 2.5, 3-hour workshop, Saturday the 18th. Mark it on your calendar. We'll have some more announcements here coming up and all the details. But it's going to be awesome. And I'm going to share with you how to I knocked on over 10,000 doors, had hundreds, if not thousands, of objections. Many of them were the same, but there's unbelievable objections and reasons why people didn't want to buy what I was selling. And I know you do too. And if you could learn how to overcome one objection that was sticking you, you got the 3 big ones. You got the I got to ask my spouse, or got to ask my partner, or the board of directors if you're doing business to business, or I don't have any money, or I don't know if I can afford it. But, whatever the reason is, it may be holding you back from making that one next sale. If you could learn how to overcome that one objection, how many more sales would you have every single month, every single year? If you could learn how to prevent that one objection, what would that do to your bottom line? You see, so learning how to overcome objections or prevent them from happening in the first place, it's an art. Sales is a learned skill, and learning how to overcome objections eloquently is an art. And that's what I'm going to teach on the 18th, November 18th. So we got a few weeks to go, but get ready, mark it on your calendar. It's going to be an explosive class. We're going to have massive breakthroughs during that class, and it's going to be exciting. Got some big announcements coming up for that class. So mark it on your calendar. And with that, hope you like my mascot, the LeapFrog here. Hope you understand now why I call it LeapFrog. Remember, you learn, then there's a breakthrough. And that's what the LeapFrog program and training system is all about. The official name is the LeapFrog Income Accelerator Program. So hopefully you like it, and if you want questions about it, you have any questions, you're not earning six figures, reach out to me. Let's do a free consultation. I'll share with you what we could do, give you I've got some free resources. Be more than happy to send your way or plug you into them so you can see more of what I do and what I teach. All right, everybody, have a great night. Talk to you later. Bye.